Hello grade 11s, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing a question paper for November 2016. So we are just going to be focusing on algebra, and we'll also do two questions of functions in this question paper. Now here are the questions that we will be doing today. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into the video. Now in the first question, we are asked to solve for x, and here it says that leave your answer to 2 decimal. So when they say leave your answer to 2 decimal, you have to use a formula. We have here 3x squared minus 5x minus 1 equals to 0, and we are asked to leave this to correct, leave your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So which means we are going to get fraction as 2 values of x, right? So we cannot just go and look for them multiples of 1, which when you add or subtract will give you 5. So what you do is that you're going to use this formula, negative b plus or minus b squared plus 4ac over 2a. Now this is the value of a, this is the value of b, and this is the value of c, and you will substitute that accordingly. So that will be negative into negative 5. The reason why we're adding the negative 5 is because the formula has a negative b. So you also have to add a negative 5, add that negative 5 in the bracket. So this one in the formula does not stand for this one on the equation. So that will be negative 5 plus or minus root negative 5 squared minus 4. A is that value of 3 into the brackets, and then c is this negative 1, and then that will be over 2a. So this 3 is your a. Now you're going to put this into your calculator. Firstly, you do so this has to be plus or minus, plus or minus. So you firstly have to start with a plus or a minus. Let's do it. Let's say, and you say negative into negative, bracket, open bracket, negative 5, close bracket. Let's start with plus root negative 5 squared minus 4 into open brackets 3, close it, and then replace the negative 1 as well, close it, all over 2 times 3. Then you are gonna get, in your calculator, you will get 5 plus root 37 over 6, and that will be equals to, then x will be equals to 1,855. So it was said we must correct to 2 decimal. We got 1,847, so we round off this one. So 7 is bigger than 5. Everything that's bigger than 5 takes this up, so this will be 5. And then we can change this plus here into a minus. There's no need to rewrite the whole thing. Just make use of your arrow, and then we have negative. We still have negative. Now we can just replace this with negative. It's plus or minus root 37, and then when you do this, you have negative 0,18. So it will be 18 because after the 18 we have 0. So 0 is a weak number. we cannot round it off to a bigger number. So x is equals to negative 0 comma 1 8. If we had this 0 was maybe a 5, this would have been 9. If it was 5 to 9, this would have been a 9. But if it's 0 to 4, then this remains the same. I hope you know how to round off. Now let's go to the second question. X squared minus 6x plus 8. So we're just going to write it here as x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals to 0, right? So what you have to look for, so now we have to solve this. If in this question they didn't say leave to 2 decimal places, so you just have to find the multiples of 8 that when you add or subtract will give you a negative 6. Now the multiples of 8 that will give you, that will be a negative 4 and a negative 2. Those multiples are 2 and 4, right? But when you give them a negative, they will give you a positive 8. But when you subtract this negative 2, so let's try when you add them, they will give you negative 6. So we'll just put them inside the bracket like that, and then x minus 4, x minus 2. So x will be equals to 4, x will be equals to 2. Anything that is negative here has to be positive here. So let's say you can still make use of the formula here to get that, right? So let's see. 6 will be B, 1 here it's A, and then this 8 is C. So we can just put that into the formula. If you want to hurry up, you're in an exam and you don't have time to guess those factors, you can just say this plus, so this is like a hack, sort of a factors hack where you try to get the factors of a certain number. So we have negative 6, which is minus 4 into A is 1, and then C is a positive 8. That will be over 2 into 1. You see, we got 4. So when we got 4 here on the calculator, you have to write it as a negative 4 here. All right? So we need to change this sign into a minus to get what will be the next number. So this will be 2. Then the 2 that we find here is the one that we replace here. 2 is equals to, but here in the brackets we make it negative because this is like this. X minus 2 equals to 0. X equals to positive 2. That is how it's done. Even with this one, it's x minus 4 equals to 0. Then x4 will go to the other side. That's how you do it, always. So let's look at the question that we have to do now. That is 4x minus 2 squared is less than 0. So that sign means less than. If it's facing the other way, it means bigger than. So we have to find values which are smaller than 0, right? We need to find the value of x that is smaller than that. So we have 4x minus 2x squared. So here we are. I can just take out a common factor. A common factor is 2x, and I can replace that with 2 minus x. So when you say 2x times 2, we're going to find 4x. When we say 2x times x, we'll find 2x squared. So x will be equals to 0, and x will be equals to 2. Now, because this is an inequality, we do not write it like this, right? So here we are looking for an x value that we will say x 0 or x is greater than 2. Then when you have to write it like this. This is O and this is 2, right? So we have to write a graph. We are representing 0 and representing 2. All right, let's see. In that occasion, when you substitute, it says 4x minus 2x squared is less than 0, right? So you have to find which value of x will x be less than 0. When you make x -1, you get a -6. So that is less than 0. So here we write it like this: when x is less than x, or when x is greater than 2. But we know that this is what we are looking for. So this is how we write inequality. The lesser one then, and then the bigger one this side. So I hope you get how you do this inequality question. You have to answer it this way, not like you did with this one. It's wrong when you answer it this way. Your answer has to be like this. And you have to understand your less than and greater signs. So we have done 1, we've done 2, we've done 3. Now we are here. 2 to the power of 3x plus 1 plus 2 to the power of 3x. Do you know that the rules of exponents, when the bases are the same and you have a multiplication sign in between, you add the exponents? So that's what happened here. So we can break down this by saying 2 to the power of 3x times 2 to the power of 1. So the bases are the same and we add the exponents, right? So with this, you have to know your exponent rules. So this will be 2 to the power of 3x plus 1 plus 2 to the power of 3x equals to 12. This is an easy question. You just have to know your exponents in question 1 and question 2. You have to know your algebraic expressions and your exponent rules. So there we're going to write it the way that I'm saying we have to write it. So 2 into 3x times 2 to the power of 1. This is the same. When the bases are the same, you add the exponents. When the bases are the same and you have a multiplication sign in between, you add the exponents. This is what they did here. So that will be plus 2x equals to 12. Now, because we have a plus or when we have a minus, we have to factorize. When you have a plus or a minus like that, you have to factorize, right? So when you have a times or a division, you can just do it all out. But whenever there is a plus or a minus, it means the terms are separating. This is one term and this and plus this are two terms. This is what is separating these terms. So whenever you have more than one term, you have to factorize. So we're gonna outside I will put 2 to the power of 3x because we have the 2 is a common factor, and then inside the bracket I will have a 2 to the power of 1, and then I will have 1. This is how I will do it, and this will be equals to 12, right? If there was another third number, maybe 2 to the power of 2, it would have been here, but we don't have it. So this is how we will write our question, right? So what we have to do here is to say 2 to the power of 3x times 3. Again, this is a times. This bracket means times. So we say 2 to the power of 1 plus 1, it's 3, equals to 12. Now, what we can do to get rid of this 3 is to divide by 3. Right? So we'll be left with 2 to the power of 3x equals to 4. We need the basis to be there. So if you're given a question like this and you're asked to solve for x, you need this basis to be the same so that you can throw them away and focus on your exponents. So we have 2 to the power of 3 to the power of x. How can we write this to the power? Well, you got to write if you say 2 to the power of 2. Now the bases are the same. We can get rid of them, and then we're going to say 3x equals 2. Then you divide by 3 on both sides, they will cancel, so x will be equals to 2 over 3. This is another question that we have here. We have x minus 1 plus 3 equals to x minus 4. So this is what we are going to solve now. It's a 6 marks. It's a lot of marks, but it's quite easy. Just you have to know the rules, guys. When you want to get rid of a square root, you have to square both sides. So that's other things that you have to do that you don't even have to worry when you see a question like this. You just have to know your mathematical rules and you are sorted. All right, here we are. So what we will do, we will say root x minus 1 equals to x minus 4 minus 3. When this 3 changes the sign, it becomes negative. So we will have x minus 1 equals to x. When you take your calculator and say negative 4 minus 3, that will give you a negative 7. Now here we want to get rid of this square root. We just square both sides, and a square times cancels a square root. So there we'll have x minus 1 equals to x minus 7. X minus 7. We can expand that. So it's easy to solve this than to solve this. So which is why we have to get rid of it so that everything can be easy for us to work with. Yeah, we are practicing now for our June exams. We have to ace this exam. Okay, now that we are here, we have to solve this bracket to make it easy. So this is still x minus 1 equals to x times x, that's x squared, x times, that's negative 7x, negative 7 times x, that is negative 7x, negative 7 times negative 7, and that is a positive 49. Now we still have x minus 1. Here we still have x squared. So when you say negative 7 minus 7, you get a negative 14x plus 49, right? So we'll move everything to this side, and that will be 0 equals to x squared minus 14x plus 49 minus x plus 1. So 0 equals to x squared. Negative 14 minus 1, that will give us a, let's do it, negative 14 minus 1, that will give us a negative 15x. Then 49 plus 1, that will be 50, right? So we have to find the multiples of 50, which when you add or subtract will give us negative 50. So that will be 5 times 10. Yeah, 5 times 10 will give us 50. This is x, and this is your x. Then when you say negative 5 and a negative 10, when you times negative and negative, it gives you positive, but when you add it, it will give you a negative. Let's say negative 5 plus negative 10. You see, that gives us negative 15. And then x equals to 5 and x equals to 10. That's the end of that question. Let's move to the simultaneous equation. All right, now we are at 1.2. We have 3x minus y plus 2 equals to 0 and y equals to negative x squared plus 2x plus 8. We have to solve this simultaneous equation. I hope you know how to do simultaneous equations. Okay, when you have a simultaneous equation, you have to find the easiest way. So you need to make x or y the subject of the formula. But when we look here, y has already been made the subject of the formula. So we do not have to try to turn this x into the subject of the formula, right? You can do that, whatever works, but I'm finding that the easiest way, you look at the easiest formula to solve. So y has already been written as negative x squared plus 2x plus 8. So wherever you see y, you have to substitute this. So we will say sub 2 into 1, right? So we're going to take this one and sub this into equation. You're going to take this equation 2 and sub it into equation 1. So we'll say 3x negative x or minus, it's 3x minus, because here is 3x minus this whole thing, x squared plus 2x plus 8 plus 2 equals to 0. So we have 3x, we have this minus here, so let's use this minus and times across the whole bracket. So minus times minus, it's a positive x squared, so this minus times the plus is a negative 2x, and this one also is a negative 8 plus 2 equals to 0. Now let's write this in a we have to have x squared first. So 3x minus 2, that will be negative 3x minus 2, yes, that will be plus an x, and then we have negative 8 plus 2, and that will give us negative 6 equals to 0. Now when we are here, we can look for the factors of 6, which when added will give us, or subtracted or added will give us 1, right? So we have to do your brackets. You can also use the formula like I have shown you guys earlier to find this, so that you do not waste time in your exam room. So it's really not an issue. You can use it. Plus 3. So that is how I got my vectors, but you can still go into the formula and see, and that is negative into 1, because the b is positive, plus square root 1 squared minus 4 into a is 1 and c is negative 6 into 2 1. You see, we have a positive 2 here. I have the positive 2, and then we also have, and that is a negative 3. So it is a negative 3 here. You just make it positive. It's a hack, so make use of it in the exam, and you don't have to write. Nobody has to know you used it. And but it's very important, guys, to know your factors, to sit down and just try to learn how to find your factors. It's very important. Yeah, So we have two equations here. So the easiest one to use to find y is this one. So I'm going to use that, substitute the values of x to find y. So we have 3x minus y plus 2 equals to 0. So that's the only thing we have. So we can say 3 into 2 minus y plus 2 equals to 0. So this will be 6 minus y plus 2 equals to 0, right? So we will have 6 plus 2 equals to y. 8 equals to y. We'll take it this side with its own sign. And then the other one, I'll just do it down here, and that will also be 3x minus y plus 2 equals to 0. And then we'll say 3 into negative 3 minus y plus 2 equals to 0. So when you say 3 times negative 3, that will give you a negative 9 minus y plus 2 equals to 0. So negative 9 plus 2 equals to y. And that will give you a, let's look, negative 9 plus 2. That will give us a negative 7 equals to y. Okay, simultaneous equations are long but fairly easy. So the next one here, show that the roots of 3x squared plus k plus 2x equals to 1 minus k are real and irrational for all k values. So here we have to find b squared minus 4ac to prove that something is real. We need to find the value of b, value of c, the value of b, the value of a, and the value of c. So let's try to do that. Do not be intimidated when you see that this is not equals to 0 and you're like, what am I supposed to do? You just have to take this to the other side. It's not really a big deal. I hope you're taught roots at school. Yeah, this is what we have to prove, that these roots are real and rational for all values of k. Now this is what we have to do. So other learners get confused if this is not equals 0 and they're like, what is happening here? And really, this is still easy, just the way it will be when you have 0. So let's start to do this. So you'll have 3x squared plus k plus 2x, plus 2, and then x, you will have minus 1. You have 1 minus 1 plus k, and that is equals to 0, right? This is exactly the way you know it. So we have the value of a, we have the value of b, and we have the value of c. We don't have to make use of this x because we don't want complicated stuff where we'll not be able to. So the alphabet here should be the same. That's what you have to do, right? And then we'll have b squared minus 4ac. Then for b squared, we'll have k plus 2 squared minus 4 into 3 and negative 1 minus k, right? We have, when we expand this, we'll have k squared plus 4k plus 4, right? And that will be 4 times that will be 12, and then this 12 will be times the whole entire thing, and that will be minus 12k. You can do it separately. You will see this is what you will get at the end. And then so when we get here, we'll have k squared, and 4k plus 4k minus 12k, and that will be minus 8k. Then this plus that will give us 16, and when we get to that point, we'll say equals to k minus 4 squared, right? So k minus 4 squared is this. So we have proved that b squared minus 4ac is a perfect square. The roots, I hope you have learned this at school, because it will be a shame if you haven't, are real and rational. If you have learned, then you understand what I've done them, but if you haven't, I'll do a separate video soon on roots. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. The next one will be functions. So I have 2 questions on this very question paper, 2 functions questions that I'll be doing, question 6 and question 7. If you have that question paper, come back for that next one in our next video. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe and like. It helps this channel. Without wasting any more time, until the next one. Bye, guys.